Okay, let's go. Let's go. Welcome, welcome to the. It is just too damn cold. Anybody want to try to convince me how to move back to Florida live stream? Usually we don't have these live streams until about mid-January into early February. But since this year it is decided to be a frozen tundra the first week of December, lots fun. And I'm sure you guys in Canada are just laughing at me like, So we got a little something different today. I'm going to get with the chat in a second. My friend Dan, who had sent these cards that we went through a couple weeks ago, sent another package. And so yeah, we're gonna open that up here today and see what we got inside. Okay, so how's everybody doing? Bex, good to see you. Says Chicken Chuck explains the E2 burn on the Chicken Chuck podcast. Pretty good story and gets their Wingman of the Week award. Oh, that I have to watch. Hey, Hungry. So, Shine, you got your tickets between the Sens and Panthers. It'll cost you a lot of dough. Yeah, I bet. So he burnt his whole leg from a grill malfunction. Good Lord. Hey, JC. So the Hughes Vancouver rumors are picking up speed. Interesting. Where's he supposed to go this week? Are the Panthers? Is the rumor, JC, that the Panthers are going to trade Verhaeghe for Stamkos and then Stamkos and Samoskevich back to Vancouver for Hughes? Is that the rumor? Or are we trading Bobrovsky this week? Hungry says, on the bright side, at least the West Coast games don't start at midnight for you. That's a good point. That's a good point. There will be a nap before today's game. Holy hell. Craig says 60 in scattered clouds in Oregon. I would pay good money for 60 at this point. It's not even that cold today. It's 44, but it's windy as hell. So it may as well be 24. In fact, it's worse today at 44 than it was yesterday at 28. Is that damn wind. David, I appreciate that. And he's talking about the video I put out. Yeah, the algorithm. I may be here on year 20, David, complaining about the algorithm and only getting 300 views on. I'm speechless at the consistency. We'll put it that way. That doesn't necessarily have to be a good thing, though. Probably Jersey. Gotcha. Jersey and Carolina. That would make some sense. David says 80s but overcast. Oh, man, I'll take that. So now Hedman is hurt, scientists. Good Lord. What is it with all the injuries this year? Unbelievable. So many guys. Now, we did not get a ton of help last night. I don't think we got any help. So whoever it was that said the Avs were going to, or that the Preds were going to beat the Avs on yesterday's stream, you were correct. The Preds beat the Avs 4-3 in the shootout. Then even the Sabres got 2 points against the Oilers. The Stars beat the Jets, so at least we're playing them on the second of a back-to-back. No, we're not playing the Stars tonight. What am I thinking? I'm thinking that's later on. The Bruins beat the Blues, so they got 2 points. The Islanders got 2 points. The Canes beat the Jackets. The Senators lost to the Devils, so that was a little bit of help. The Ducks beat the Penguins, but that was in the shootout. The Flyers beat the Sharks, and the Lightning beat the Canadiens, which that's a little bit of help for us because we'll just, like I said, we'll just concede the division to Tampa. And then, so if any of the Bruins, Wings, Canadians, Leafs lose, that's a good thing. Senators losing is a good thing. And we just got to keep winning some games. That's all. Jameson wants to know, he says, morning, Jaws. Episode 1 of Road to the Winter Classic comes out tonight. Where is that on? Is that on Scripps? Where is that on? I mean, I wouldn't be watching tonight because we got the game. Or I guess it comes out earlier. I'm sure it's going to be on YouTube, though, right? Or is it just on TV? Oh my God. That is one hell of a concoction I got in there to try to have some energy today. Yeah, the Avs lost to the Preds. We have some hope. There's also rumbling Hughes can go to the Ducks or the Flyers. Oh, on the Flyers, that would be a pain in the ass. He'd really do well in the Ducks, but I guess if Vancouver trades him in conference, they're really ripping it down, right? JC says, finally get a chance to see the Panthers here in Dallas, but of course I have beer league hockey playoff game. Oh, that reminds me of the time when I was a young man and my soccer team had a playoff game and I was the goalie and the Bluefish were running at the pier. I'll let you guys decide what you think I did. Hat's crooked again. That's nice. Absolute Real says, Kachuk said they'd play in the Olympics no matter what. I saw that. Boo, Chucky, boo. Damn it. He even said, quote, I don't even care if it's unsafe. I'm playing. So it was nice having Kachuk back for the month before the Olympics, right? Yeah, he's in. So, exactly, David. How many bluefish did you catch? Exactly. I still remember the coach calling me, talking to my dad, actually. The coach called my dad and he's like, you can't just back out on the team because the fish are at the pier. And my dad's like, the bluefish only run a couple times a year. Oh, the game ended in a tie. Wasn't my fault. You know what I mean? I had my prior. Well, I mean, on one hand, I probably shouldn't have ditched on the team. On the other hand, the Bluefish were running. The priorities. Jay says he's an idiot talking about Kachuk. I mean, he's a character. That's for sure. Beck says they filmed the U.S. Olympic commercial when he was on crutches, why he wasn't in it. Okay. JC Jaws being in the net is less than Jaws netting some fish. That's what happened. That's just how I was raised. And then of course I took that to mean I could skip school to go fishing. My car was a 68 Plymouth Fury, so I could get the rods in the trunk without having to break them down. So you couldn't see the rods in the car when I drove off to school, so nobody would know because the trunk was so big. And I'd get through, I think third period was math. And I'd get to whatever 10 o'clock was, a couple periods before lunch, and I'd use the payphone at North Miami Beach High School. And I'd call up Oliver Pierce, how's fishing? Well, if they're catching bluefish or mackerel, the rest of the school day was at the pier. I was doing science class at the pier. I was learning how to engage with the environment and survive on my own should I ever get stranded in a zombie apocalypse. I just go catch fish on the pier and throw the fish at the zombies, and they would never eat me because I would be their food supply because they could have, see what I'm saying? I need a nap. So Greg says, I think Chucky's a little more healthy than they're letting on. He was saying meaningful playoff goals on one leg. He was scoring meaningful playoff goals on one leg. Right. Oh, they got their rings last night. Schmidt and Vanacek get their rings tonight. And then, but scientists saying they got them last night. They don't get them. They wouldn't get them with the Panthers, or how does that work? Hey, Bill, how we doing? David says, I grew up in what used to be a tiny, almost uninhabited place about 85 miles north of Fort Lauderdale. When there was a groundswell and we would ditch school to go surfing, we'd always see a teacher out there surfing too. Yep. I see. They probably took the boys out to dinner. That makes sense. Yeah. So that's cool. They got their rings. Boy, Vanacek got himself a ring. Not to say he didn't do much, but let's be honest. He didn't do much. JC says if I go to the game, it'll be like a minimum $1.5K between tickets, parking, food, drinks. I want to, but I don't want to. The money in having a playoff game, that's a lot. That's a lot. You know, yeah, and it's a mortgage payment. It's a mortgage payment to go to a hockey game. Beck said Schmidt was so happy. I kind of forgot how much of a character he was, and probably, oh yeah, it's a shame, we couldn't afford to keep him. It would have been a lot nicer to just be able to pay Schmidt, but money was tight, obviously. Hey, Kenneth. Real says if we win tonight, Schmidt and Stenlin have to come back to South Florida. Can we just leave Petrie there? Who can we trade? Schmidt and Stenlin. What's that? $5 million about? Who can we give them that makes $5 million? I know you guys are just going to say Verhaeghe, but that doesn't solve our problems. David says it's kind of like a Bluefish run where there was a nice swell and everything else was secondary. Yep, exactly. Even when my dad worked at the bank, he worked at the American Savings and Loan. They had their own print shop before there was all this everything on computers and all of that. This American Savings Loan actually had their own print shop, and he ran it. And he would do the same thing during October. He'd call when he was on lunch. He'd call the pier, and if the fishing was good, he'd set everybody up with their work for the rest of the day. Pick me up from school and we'd go fishing. I don't know where I got the idea that I should skip school to go fishing from, now that I say that out loud. Priorities, man. I remember going fishing. I don't remember much about school. JC says ticks are ridiculously expensive at $400 lower bowl plus another $120 in fees. That's just crazy. I think I'm done making my payments on, because the tickets, because Magda paid for the first game, and then I wanted to make sure I could meet people, so I bought tickets to the second game, and it wasn't that bad. It was for me, Kyle, and Brother Gene. It still cost me $500. I think I picked a 12-month payment plan, so I guess I'm still paying for those tickets. Oh boy. Forsling makes we can't send him 4 or 5. Can't send him Forsling though. Jaws would get the casino vouchers from the print shop. Yeah, that's expensive, man. $520. Jeez, for 2. Well, like I said, even just going to the Panther game last year was expensive. So I'm going to open up this box here. So this is from, remember a couple of weeks ago, I went through some cards that my friend Dan had sent to me and Kyle. And he sent some more, and I've been waiting to open them. since we don't have much Panther stuff to talk about, let's open them and see what's in here. Holy moly, we got all sorts of stuff. Oh, we got that's a puck. All right, let's see what we got here. Is that off camera? That's off camera. Let me open up the puck first. The new battery for my camera came in today, which is good because the old one is really just like I can barely get 8 minutes out of it now. So it's not good for nothing. So this is a puck from this is a regular season puck. I guess it says Cats 3 Vegas 2, so I guess it's from that game. That's awesome. So because he lives in Vegas, that's this way, Jaws. He lives in Vegas. So he's actually a Vegas fan, but his lady is a Panther fan. That's awesome, man. I need to get a puck display thing because I've got so many pucks that you all have sent me. It says something else, but I can't read it because I'm blind. Let's check out these cards. Yeah, that's a very cool puck. Oh, it just opened up here. Let me see. I'm going to leave the tape on it. What else does it say? It says must. I don't know. I think it must be some writing on the tape. So yeah, there we go. The camera's having trouble focusing on it. I guess I'm too close. Yeah, the camera doesn't want to focus real good on it. There you go. Yeah, really cool. That's nice stuff. All right, let's check out these cards. I think these feel like they're in top loaders. So I think it's not a huge stack like the other stuff, but I think he sent some newer stuff because he wanted Kyle to have a good time opening them. And when Kyle opened up the cards with the older players, poor kid was like, I don't know who these guys are. Roberts, Fela, poor kid. I had him record a video for the members, and then I couldn't put it out because he didn't know who anybody was. Good packing job, Dan. Excellent. You get high marks for your packing job. I should know. Good stuff. All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah, we got some newer cards. Oh, I see our Young Guns. All right, let's see what we got here. There's about 10, 15 cards here. So, here we go. It's a Uvis Balinskis Young Guns. I gotta keep that. Oh, what's with the? There we go. What's with the? Where's that light coming from? That's leaving a mark right in the middle of it. Let me see. Yeah, so we got Balinskis Young Guns. That's a nice looking card. What is this? Boy, my eyes are bad. This is a Rodriguez. What is this? Boy, my eyes are so bad, guys. It's an upper deck. It's like a clear. That's a nice card. That's awesome. What do we got? This is Barkov. Yeah, this is a Barkov Dazzlers. I think I've had not Barkov. I've had other. I think I had a Montour Dazzlers. Can I? What is that light? What is the thing causing the light? Damn it. Okay, that helps. Whatever I'm blocking with my hand helps. So there we go. That's pretty nice. Jake, the name of the store is Beezer's Books. Well, that's my ID. I'll have to find the link because the name of the store at one point was Happy Dog. If you go to it, it's like Happy Dog, but the link is like do what you want, be what you are. So I'll get the link when I'm done here. Look at this Forsling. Boy, my eyes have gotten so bad in the last couple of days, guys. Seriously, like that's not even a joke. Like in the last 3 or 4 days, I don't know what's going on. Look at that Forsling card. That is sweet. I don't know where that light's coming from, but that is awesome. And there's another one that looks just like a Kulikov. Oh, there's a few of them like this. These are nice. What are these? Upper Deck? Yeah, I can't read the brand. I mean, I can read the brand, but I guess it's called Outburst. Yeah, Upper Deck Outburst. Here's the Kulikov. There we go. These are cool cards. Oh, Chucky, Chicken Chuck. Look at that one. That's nice. Very cool. Bubba, we got a Bubba. Oh, I see. Oh no, you did not, Dan. Oh no, Dan. Look, wait till you see the next card. We got a Bobrovsky here. Well, he doesn't want to focus real well. Kind of like Bob's play right now. And here is the creme de la creme. Oh, there's 3 of them. I'll do the save the best for last. So we've got, damn, thank you, Dan. This is awesome, brother. So we got Sam Reinhart, signature, signed, beautiful. That's sweet. And then we've got Cole Schwindt, rookie, and he signed it as well. It's another signature card. Nice. And then I'm just going to put this, in the safety deposit box because eventually this is going to be worth $10 gazillion. Dan, you awesome, man. He sent me, yeah, I don't know where that light is coming from. Even my backlit keyboard's not on. I don't know where it's coming from at all. Mackie Samoskevich signed. Look at that. Boy, there we go. I angled it up. I angled it up enough for it to. Thank you, Dan. That's awesome, man. That's just going right. That's just that. You will not see that card on eBay. No, you will not. We're just going to get a frame. In fact, I should probably, because I got that drawing that Ashley got for me, so I should probably maybe get a custom frame made for the drawing and put the card with that drawing. That's awesome stuff. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate you and your lovely lady. She gets the extra. She gets the extra thanks because she's the Panther fans. But you're pretty cool. You're a pretty cool dude for a Vegas fan, huh? He's a good dude. He's a good dude. Thank you, guys. All right, so you can see it, and you can see it in my glasses as well. Yeah, let me see. Oh, you know what that might be? Hold on a second. It might just be the laptop reflecting off my glasses. Huh. I mean, there's nothing behind me, and the lights that are above me, I don't think that's what's making it. But maybe it might be my Windows bar. Yeah. Wonder what would happen if I made this full screen. Let's see. That didn't make a difference. Yeah, it's the Windows bar is what it is. And it's reflecting off my glasses. And then, yeah, is what it is. Oh, well, that's cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. I don't know what, if anything, I could do about that. Because I have overhead lights, but they're pointed that way. So the good thing is if you watch the skit video I did yesterday, I do it in this room and I always have the shadow behind me. And so I finally got the bright idea to move. See, I moved I'll turn the camera around, show you what I did. The room's a mess because I'm tearing it up. But, oh, Jesus Christ, Jaws. No wonder everything breaks on you. And there go, come on, camera. Yeah, see, I moved my rack with all my jerseys there. So I just threw the skit in front of there, and then I don't end up with all the shadows behind me. Didn't matter, though. YouTube don't want to show the damn videos to anybody. That's a whole different story. All right, we got to fix that. That's not good enough. We're the real professional outfit here. Okay, there we go. Good thing I don't have any corn on this screen. No. Not too old for that anyway. I don't got the energy for that. You know what I mean? You guys know. What is it? Women give you weak legs. Yeah. That's that Jameson sent that. Jameson sent about half of those. Most of the Western Conference stuff, Jameson sent. The Vancouver, the Kachina, the Dallas Stars one. There's a few others that he sent. Oh my God, yeah, the stink bugs inside the Sabres head. That was real. That was not planned. That was nothing. I was just going to say alone again naturally, and I started feeling something on my head. And then once I looked in the hat and saw what it was like my brain was like, just stay in character and just use the whole clip. That's all I could think about. It's like I couldn't write it better than that. Do I have a wish list of cards in my seeking? I'd have to think about that for a second. Especially now that I got the Samoskevich rookie and I've got some nice Forslings. I don't have anything off the top of my head. I think I've got an Ekblad signature. I've got lots of Chuckies. You know what's in short supply? I don't find very many, or at least I don't come across them, is Verhaeghe. I don't think I hardly have anything of Bennett. Yeah, and I don't have anything with Marchand at all. Not in the Panthers uniforms. Hungry says, hey, if there's one hockey team that knows stink, I know, I just couldn't believe it. Oh, really? Any thoughts on Philip Rivers coming back? Well, they called me first. That's how desperate they are. Rivers wasn't even their first. They called me first. What it was they accidentally, they had wrote that I was 6'6" instead of 5'6". I had to remind them. And also the fact that I can't throw and I can't see. And then once I had to still talk them out of it. They still wanted me to come in for a tryout. And I said, well, why don't you call somebody else who's a little bit younger? Great White says, I hate it when people steal my thunder. Someone's always saying I'm about to post. Oh, man, I'm sorry, bud. I understand how that goes. So, yeah, I mean, the thing with Rivers, I don't know what they're thinking. The dude's been out of the game. Here's what I thought about Rivers. How bad is Ryan Tannehill that they didn't call him first? Tannehill, has he been out for 1 year or 2? I think last year was his first year that was out, right? Like, so how cooked was Tannehill that they called Philip Rivers? It's been 5 years. Like, there's no way he kept. I mean, I guess he could have stayed in shape. I don't know. So what I know is that the Dolphins are going to troll us all and think maybe they have a chance to make the playoffs, but probably not. So Tannehill was out last year and this year, so he's only 1 year removed. Now, what I will say for you guys that have been Dolphin fans for a while, the first name that came to my mind was Steve DeBerg. Raise your hand if you remember Steve DeBerg and that whole situation. That was fantastic. He almost pulled it off for us. Hungry says, last time I saw Philip Rivers, he lost me a fantasy game that I already won by getting -8 points for that week, which, by the way, for those of you who are in the fantasy league for the football channel, there's a consolation round. I don't want anybody to lose their games or win their games because the opponent didn't know. I'm going to make a post in the football channel. But apparently the bottom 6 teams were still playing. There's a consolation round. We can't win the championship, but there's like Trey and I play again this week. I didn't make the playoffs because of the tiebreaker. I don't know. I think I think Kyle said something about negative points or something like that. But he had already won his game. He's got the bye. Kenneth says, Jaws is Jameis Winston. Colorblind. Just throw it to the open guy. Touchdown, interception. Just get open and I'll throw it. Yeah, I was cracking the joke with Kyle this morning when I was making my breakfast. I said, well, for me, it would be like, look, I saw two wide open wide receivers. Why? Of course I threw the ball. And, since the vision is so bad, there was actually only one guy standing there. But I saw two of them. I don't know what they're thinking. But, I mean, they're desperate, right? It's past the trade deadline. What are they going to do? And I guess, what's his name? Anthony Richardson's not available. And I guess the rookie quarterback they had got hurt. So the injuries in sports this year have been something. I mean, hockey, I just wonder how much of it has to do with the extra hockey of the Four Nations, the condensed schedule here before the Olympics, or is it just a coincidence? I mean, some of the injuries, obviously, like Oosterainen and Hughes. We had two guys get burnt, and Hughes with the cut with the hand, right? So, and we don't even know what happened to Stolars. Jameson says, where I bet online for the Seahawks to post back-to-back shutouts at home? Oh, that's a good question. I have to go. I was wondering about Tom Brady, but isn't he part owner of the Raiders now or something? That's what Kyle said. Kenneth says, I heard they didn't want to grab someone off someone's practice squad because Rivers already knows the plays. Yeah, I hope. Hunger, you say you don't think it's a coincidence? It's probably not, right? So it just kind of seems, what's the word I'm looking for? Especially that it's 2 years in a row, right? I was kind of disappointed, though, yesterday. You guys talked about it, but obviously Chucky is planning on going to the Olympics. So I think, did anybody else read the article where there was a rumor about, where was this? There was a rumor, I want to see if I can find it, about Kachuk having a special stick made that might be no, I don't see it. There was something I was reading about he might have a special stick that got made. What would be for the Winter Classic. I can't find the article now. Anybody else read that? Yeah, still no Kaepernick. Well, he's no youngster anymore, too. What is he? Mid-30s at this point? I mean, when I look up Colin Kaepernick, how it'll tell, like Colin Miller, Canadian ice hockey defenseman, right? Colin Firth, actor and film producer. Says Colin Kaepernick, American civil rights activist. They don't even put him as a football player. They don't even have him as a football player. So he was born in 1987. So he's not even 40 years old yet, right? He's not even 40. And he hasn't played since 2016 is the last time he played. And there's just no way. And I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but there's just no way that that's organic. Like the league had to go out and say something to all the teams and say no. Because don't you think by now Quenneville got put back in the NHL. Don't you think by now Kaepernick would have been given an opportunity unless the league was a blanket no? Holy crap. Holy crap. Thank you, Great White. Oh, my God. Thank you, brother. Boy, does that come in handy, too, because the amount of heat are having to run in this house. Donna don't apparently keeping the house at 54 degrees is too cold. That's what Donna said. Thank you, Great White. Hat off again. Holy crap. Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. Jeez. That helps. Holy crap. Yeah, nobody is going to steal your thunder on that one. That's a good point. Thank you, brother. Much appreciated, man. Yeah, that's a Thor level of thunder. No joke. No joke. Unger says, it's like what happened to Michael Sam. The bad press outweighed his playing performance, right? Mythical says, yeah, Colin was blackballed. It happens. My favorite baseball player, Bonds, same thing. I wanted to see him crack more home runs. Broken hand Herbert's better than Trey Lance, right? Thank you again, Great White. Appreciate you, man. Holy moly. That woke me up. So, what the hell? Oh, yeah, I was talking about Cap. Yeah, I mean, you just got to, there's at this point, there's no way. Like when they're getting to the point where they're going after Phillip Rivers, like, David, what you had to put away your food order? What'd you miss? Were you here for the cards? Were you here for the card opening, David? The whole thing with Bonds and Clements in the Hall of Fame. And I hate what they did to Pete Rose. I mean, when you take into consideration how things are now, what is it with these guys? Hey, Ricky, with the whole, like these guys are getting busted. They're making millions and tens of millions of dollars, and they're getting busted with gambling things that are like $5 and $10 grand. It's like that's the next level of stupid. Monday was beautiful. I had my neighbor over to watch Monday Night Football. Oh, geez. I don't, that's the other thing with football. I know we're supposed to talk hockey, but both football and hockey right now. Well, not so much. In hockey, I would assume that Colorado was like the favorite, and then there's everybody else right now. In football, I mean, I don't think any of us right now would be surprised to wake up and be like, look, the Patriots won the Super Bowl again. Like, it could be anybody at this point. There's no teams that are just tearing it up. Mythical says how Bonds and Clemens are not in the Hall of Fame is amazing, yet others on the juice that are much worse make it boggles your mind. Yeah, it's so much with politics. And I don't mean necessarily like politics, but it's who likes you. Who do you rub the wrong way? Whose head did you throw at? You know what I mean? Yeah, Craig, that's a good point. Ricky says, I prefer to spend my money on food instead of going to the casino just to lose it all. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. David says, Clemens was truly a horrible person back in the day. Look into it sometime. He got a 17-year-old singer strung out on pills, and she ended up OD. Really? Yikes. Yeah, those are not stories I'm familiar with. But stuff like that gets around. If even if it didn't happen, those stories getting around and burn up a guy's career. Like remember the whole Ricky Williams thing? Not Ricky Williams. The whole Richie Incognito things and Jonathan Martin, right? That was his name. You guys know that Martin eventually, I guess recently admitted that he made the whole thing up. The whole bully gate and how they had to have counseling and Incognito. We had to get rid of Incognito, and then he went to Buffalo and played well for them for a number of years. Apparently, Martin said on a podcast that he just it didn't really happen that way. He just made it up for attention. The internet as much damage as the internet has caused, it also, in many ways, is a dual-edged sword. I watch a lot of the body cam videos, and sometimes what you see happen on the video and what either police or the accusers say happened ain't exactly the same thing. I can't imagine. That's a good question. It's totally off topic, but you would think crime would be down because there's no place you could go that's not covered in cameras right now. Who wants to go somewhere and rob somebody or do something? Everybody's got a Ring camera and a survey. I mean, you're going to get caught. You would think the number of cameras would have lowered crime. Jake, yeah, it's true. Cobb was telling me about it. He said the whole thing was, it didn't happen that way. It really wasn't bullying. He didn't really feel bullied. And they had the whole, they would be talking about it on TV and all of that. Could cover your face in lemon juice, David. Oh, that's wild. That's wild. Craig says, that could have been a straw that led to the Finns' track record of sucking bad karma. Incognito was a jerk, but didn't do what he was accused of. Well, when you think about what people accuse the Panther players of doing, you know what I mean? Of being bullies and everything like that. There's two types of people. There's the type of people that see what Marchand did the other night when he went into the timeout huddle there, and we get a good laugh out of it. And then there's a certain segment that thinks that he's really genuinely cheating and Panthers are cheaters, and it's just wild to see. An investigator found out it was her mom who was bullying her online. Who are we talking about? David said something. Oh. Talking about the 17-year-old singer? That's wild. That's wild. That's the other thing when you're doing stuff online. It's who you're talking to. Like I've said, I'm convinced that most of who we argue with online are bots. I'm convinced. Anytime I watch any the YouTube videos where you guys might not watch them, but I watch a lot of content that are from the YouTube gurus, so to speak, that, try this trick to make your video go viral, all of that stuff. I watch a lot of it. And in the comments, there's always dozens and dozens of comments that have got to be bots because it's the similar, if you're a new creator, don't give up, you'll eventually be successful. And new creators, hit the button here. The bots are insane. And I'm pretty sure they're having conversations on their own by themselves. But it's weird. I don't know, because I know that engagement and comments boosts the algorithm. I don't know if YouTube can tell the difference if it's bots communicating back and forth or if they care. You know what I mean? Kenneth says, we had a trucker hit and run a tow truck driver last week, and the guy died. Traffic cam of the truck in question was released. Truck was identified, and they found the driver. Internet detectives. Yeah. I can't imagine going in and trying to, you're going to get caught. David says, I have a kind of friend, and he may or may not work for a government agency. He says they can not only access all cams, but they can do such good deep fakes that they can make it look like you robbed something, even if it wasn't you. I don't doubt it. Half the videos I see, I'm like, what? And then the comments like, oh, wow, AI did a really good job. If you're my age and your eyes aren't perfect, it's getting real tough to tell. Mythical says the bots are usually political. I've seen some crazy things. David says, I think it's entitlement culture. People race to think the world owes them something. Well, yeah, I mean, you're only spoiled based on like how you've been raised. You know what I mean? And so, like at our age, we didn't have internet. We were still talking on. Have to grab the phone off the wall and make a phone call and know people's numbers. This is the easier things get for people that they're born into it. They just expect a certain, like you say, there's like an expectation of a certain level of quality of life, regardless of what they do for work or whatever. Yeah, I'm not sure who Utah is going to have in net. David says, I can usually tell when watching, but if there's sound, the AI sound still talks funny. Yeah, some of it's getting pretty good though. Eduardo, yeah, what happened to the Canadians goalies? They had to bring up a rookie from Laval. I don't know. Like they started off really good for a minute there. Well, Monty's been okay, but then for a couple of weeks it looked like Dobish was going to be like, okay, I'm the hot young rookie. I'm going to take things over, and then it's just been bad. It's been bad, and I still kind of gotta believe that they're going to feel like Dobish is the future goalie. There's not a lot out there. That's another thing. Like if Edmonton wanted to upgrade or if Montreal wanted to upgrade, there's not a lot out there. We've looked at this before. We could do it again. It's a good let's see. Those are the 25. No, I need free agent goalies that'll be free agents in 26. Let's see. Let me see. Skaters, goalies, goaltenders. So guys that'll be unrestricted goalies. The point being that no, that's not right. Yeah, no, that's right. It's just no, we want free agents. We want guys that are going to be free agents, Puckpedia. What are we doing? They're not giving it to me. I'm not finding the site that I'm looking for. Contract, focus season, stat season, choose. So we got free agents. 2026 unrestricted free agents. There we go. Now I don't want skaters. I want goaltenders. Come on. Here we go. Okay. So if you were going to upgrade a goalie and you were going to trade for a guy that's in the last year of his contract right now, I mean, I'm just going to list off the names. Obviously, Carey Price isn't going to do anything. Nobody's moving Bobrovsky. Mrazek, it's not going anywhere. The Ducks are not going to sell. Brossoit from the Blackhawks. Anderson, Skinner, Talbot, Nedeljkovic, Quick, Vanacek, Tarasov, Picard, Matt Murray, David Riddick, Comrie, and then the list. I mean, Busey, right? So it's a short list. There's nobody out there if you're just trying to get a goalie that's going to help you. And most of these teams wouldn't be selling anyway. I mean, maybe the Sharks would be willing to move Nedeljkovic, but how much of an upgrade is that really? If the Rangers were out of it and maybe they wanted to move Quick and he would try for one last run somewhere. But is that the cover is kind of bare. Dave says, on a way more important note tonight, game 3 of our 14-game winning streak or 3 of our 14-game point streak? Good question. I have to go with what I originally said. I said 14-game win streak. It's what I said. So that's a long wait for me to cash in my chips if it happens. What do I get if it happens? What's my prize? My prize is we have to force YouTube to give my channel the appropriate distribution of content. What's interesting is if you see you see my videos and you see the difference in views, it's not because less people are clicking to watch. And what I mean by that is no matter if YouTube shows it to 1,000 people or 10,000 people, my click-through rate is pretty much, generally speaking, about the same. So I have yet to discover why if I put out video A and it has 7% of the people clicking and YouTube will still show it to more people versus video B where it has 7% of the people clicking and then they just stop showing it to people. I have yet to discover the magic bean of why that is. Mythical says, have you mentioned playing blackjack before? You did? Oh, did I count cards? No, I did not count cards. My skill in blackjack is knowing when to walk away. I walk up to the table with $50 and I might only get up to where I'm at like 85, close to 90. Walk away. I almost doubled my money. Walk away. That was my skill in blackjack, was knowing when to quit. Brother Gene's skill in blackjack was doubling down until he lost all his money. Kenneth says, personal preference, Hildeby and Stolarz, Wool can go. Interesting. Huh. But Stolarz got it. Do we know what's wrong with Stolarz, Kenneth? Like, is it concussion related? David says, YouTube probably killing itself as well. In 10 years, we'll all be dead, but y'all probably be watching something else. Unless the aliens attack, then we can all be friends. Well, we'll see. Maybe I'll have to. The problem is I wouldn't mind sometimes, like when the weather's like this, moving back to Florida, but I'd still only want to live in Central Florida. There's a 1% of me that would like to live down there in Sunrise and partner with a restaurant or a sports bar and have live watch parties. That would probably do pretty well, but I got to live in Sunrise. And after living here for 10 years, it's like, I don't even want to know how much the house would cost. Like, forget about it. Have I thought about a live call-in show? We've done it a couple of times where people could call in and everything. The problem with doing it is that I don't have a screener. And when I've done it in the past, it genuinely is just for the hardcore fans. Because when I look at the analytics of those videos, without fail, if I put somebody on that people aren't interested in, they just click off the video and they don't come back. So it would maybe be better. I've been considering trying to line up some guests. So it's just like one guest and it's something a little bit more manageable. But I've done those before, and it's really just kind of it's something that like the hardcore fans enjoy, but the outside, you know what I mean? It's not something that would grow the channel because you'll see massive dips in viewership if somebody comes on that the other people don't want to hear or whatever, for whatever reason, and then they just don't come back. Kenny says, you're talking about Stolars. I'm not sure. I hope he's all right. But, and Hildeby is how old? We've looked at this, I thought. He's a kid, right? 24. Yeah. God, 6'7", 231. I mean, if he turns out to be, when do you guys draft him? Drafted in the 4th round in 2022. Yeah, I think we looked at him in the was he in the AHL doing well last year? Yeah, with the Marlies. He's done pretty decent with the Marlies. If the kid is ready, you might be right there, Kenneth. What's my score prediction? Well, last time I said we were going to win 5-4. And that was that crazy game. That was what? What was the final score of that game the other day? 7-6. I think that's the overtime one, right? So hell with it. I'll say 5-4 again. Every time I said 5-4, we win. So yeah, 5-4. We'll go with that. David says the area around the arena is like its own city now. I'm sure, right? Right? 3-bedroom shack, 800 yeah. Yeah, that's going to be above my price point, Jake. That's definitely it's a $1 million mortgage, basically. I mean, 3 bedrooms. What am I going to do with 3 bedrooms? That would be like the bare minimum for us. For what I pay, it's tough. Plus, I can't take the dogs with me. I probably never move, but I just talk about it when it gets really cold. What I would love to honestly be able to do is keep this house and have a place in Melbourne and go down there for a few months of the year in the winter and have a place to stay. But that's a financial goal. I won't call it a pipe dream. We'll call it a goal. Donna could be the screener. I'd be stunned at the building going on in Sunrise. I can't imagine. Well, they still can't build out past, was it 27? They didn't change that, did they? Yeah, he's taller than Burke. Hey, Dana, you think you're going to move to Alabama now? That's your favorite state you ever drove through? Alabama's nice. I haven't really spent much time there. I've driven through it, though. I don't know what the cost of living there is. David says dollar goes a lot further in Bama. They had a huge earthquake there yesterday. Did like $3.98 in damage. Oh man, that's the other thing about where I live is like not really worried about. We did get a tornado in the driveway, but we usually don't. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, at some point it will happen, but you're talking about after my parents pass, I'll inherit that house. But my mom's only 71, and she's probably going to live another 25 years. So that house is not a retirement plan for me in any way, shape, or form. David says, plus you're always in the college playoffs no matter how many games you lose. So I read up a little bit about the whole University of Miami Notre Dame thing. And my question, generally speaking, is how did they screw this whole thing up? And I don't mean necessarily specifically Miami and Notre Dame, but I thought the whole point of going to a playoff system was so that it wouldn't be up to votes in some committee on what they believed seems like I thought they moved away from that garbage. And it was like, here's the records, here's the tiebreakers. And at some point, the tie-breaking system would break whatever ties, and those are the teams that make the playoffs. It's still up to people to vote based on what they think, which is just stupid. Like, I don't understand how they screwed that up. It shows you how much I pay attention. But I thought they had moved away from the whole voting. I mean, what's the difference? What's the difference if you still got people voting on who's going to have a chance and who's not? David says Irish had no beef with Miami. Yeah, the Canes won that game, right? So, I mean, that makes sense. I read a little bit about it, but I was just surprised that it was up to a committee still. And they had people that were like, well, you know, we voted this way because of this, and then we thought this, and then so we went back. I guess they went back and rewatched the Miami Notre Dame game at the beginning of the year, and that's when they were like, oh, actually Miami's better, so they just jumped. It's just like it's just opinions. I mean, is it impossible because there's so many teams in college to like have a playoff system based on tiebreakers? Is it just because there's too many teams and you can't really compare one team that's 10-2 versus another team that, I mean, it's really kind of screwy. Jake says, I remember FSU had an undefeated season and didn't make the playoffs for some reason. I don't watch football if I can help, so maybe have the story screwed up. I might remember something similar to what you're saying, though, Jake. That rings a bell. Somebody will know. David says, it sucks. Schools like James Madison get in, but I get it. Yeah, FSU was undefeated. Yeah, but they lost the court. Yeah, their quarterback got injured. So the committee, yeah, you're right, Jake. Yep. Too many conferences with too wide of a skill range, right? Yeah. We went undefeated in 23 because they left us out because the quarterback got hurt and the offense looked bad with the third stringer. Yeah, that's wild, man. That's wild. So that was my surprise of the day yesterday. Because you guys had asked what I thought about it. So, well, let me read about it. And I was stunned that at that there's got to be a better way, right? You know, and what is it? The top 12 teams, 10 teams? There's got to be a better way. But because I thought once Miami lost their second game that they were pretty much done. So, and it's usually the same teams anyway, right? Excuse me, sorry. Jake says, also saw the rap video about them missing the playoffs and dissing all the other teams. Sometimes I wonder what it would have been like in the 70s and 80s if there was still the internet, or if the internet had been then, you know, like the trash talking between the Bills and the Dolphins fans, as an example, back when it was Marino versus Kelly every year. I wonder what it would have been like. Because back then we just solved our problems by having fights. I've told you those stories before. They would just have a fight in the stands, and then the girlfriends would take their tops off to get the guys to stop fighting. And nobody would go to jail. Nobody would get arrested. Nobody had footage uploaded to the internet. That's why we don't have proof of any of that stuff that happened, unless you went to the Orange Bowl and you're like, yep, seen it every game. Crazy stuff. Dave says, really only Notre Dame or BYU got the shaft this year. Well, we'll see how it all works out. David says, I was stunned, flabbergasted even that they put Miami in. Miami media hates Miami and Florida in general, so it's a nice surprise. And I guess there's still the coaches, polls, and all of that stuff. I remember when I was a kid, you had to wake up in the morning and wait for the newspaper to arrive to find out who won the national championship. Like, you had to wait for the newspaper to get delivered before you knew who actually won. Now it's just so wild how much things have changed. And I just wonder what was that, 40 years ago? Like 40 years ago. And then same thing. It was even worse with, like, if it was a Monday night football game that would run late, the earlier edition of the morning paper would be like, we don't know who won because the game wasn't over yet and we had to print the paper. I remember that. Dave says, I remember there being almost full-blown riots at Bills games. People got tossed, but almost no one got arrested. Yeah, they would take them to the stadium jail. The stadium jail was just a room where they kept people where they could watch the game, but they kept them separated from everybody else. Now, although my uncle did get arrested one time for scalping tickets on property. Stupid. Like, the scalping, you were 95% of the time they never would care. And then every once in a while they'd have some undercover cop that would sting you for scalping tickets. It was just stupid. Well, you weren't making a ton of money, you know what I mean? Like, you were selling a $30 ticket for $35, so you'd have money for a soda. Canes draw TV viewers because they're hated. Funny. Yep. All right, everybody, I'm going to roll. Obviously, the members stream will be about 45 minutes. What is game time's at 9 tonight, right? So we'll have a good long member stream. And then we do our normal thing tonight, and then we'll be back here at noon tomorrow. Great White says, Jaws, don't be the Panthers. In the Bolts Arena, I couldn't get out with less than 10 fights. It was crazy times, man. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Colin. Yeah, they need a better system, but they've been saying that for years. All right, everybody. Appreciate you all hanging out. Great White, once again, thank you, brother. Much appreciated. And yeah, let's keep that winning streak going. Let's get to 14. I need my cookies if we get to 14. If they actually do a 14-game win streak, when I said it, like in the 14 games that I said, we'll have to figure out a way to force Chucky and Brady to let me on the podcast so I can brag about it. All right, everybody. We'll see you tonight. Thanks again.